What's happening, guys? We're back. It's a new year and I got some new plans. Alright, so initially I wasn't planning on filming anything until probably next week, but it seemed like I was coming out pretty much every day drinking beer and staring at the car. So I figured I'd bring you guys out here and at least film some stuff, some happenings. So, we're gonna get back into it. I've come up with a couple of plans. I've spent the last couple weeks buying a whole bunch of car parts and I'm ready to get back to work on the car. So, first thing we're gonna do this year is we're gonna start cleaning up the firewall area there. All right, so we got a lot of work to do in this area here yet. We need to fit all of this wiring and electrical fuse box, our ECU, and then any kind of plugs and whatnot have to all fit here. We have to put the intake, our air filter and everything in here as well, and then like fuse box and whatnot. So I bought an air filter. It fits right in there perfect, but it's the wrong size. This is a 2.5 inch outlet. All of our intake piping is 2.5 inches, but when I came back here and went to fit it onto our mass airflow sensor, I realized that our mass airflow sensor is 3 inches. So I'm gonna try to take this back tomorrow and exchange it for one about the same size that has a 3-inch outlet, and then that'll fit kind of right in there. Our ECU is gonna live underneath it. Our brake fluid reservoirs are gonna live up in here. Over here we're gonna have all of our electrical, and then the other thing that has to happen over here is our heater lives right here, and we need to get our heater hoses from the engine bay into the passenger compartment. So I think our first project for 2021 is we're gonna build a bulkhead that'll go on right here, and it'll take our 3/4 inch heater hose off of the engine and run it through the firewall and magically transform it into a 5/8 heater hose. So let's give it a whirl. All right, there is our little 3/4 to 5/8 reducer piece. So we got a 3/4 inch barrel on this side with a little barb doodad thingy majiggy on there, and then 5/8 on this side with a similar barb thingy majiggy doodad on there. And then I have a double step kind of ledge deal in the middle, which will make a lot of sense once we start building the flange. So we got one done. Now we just need a second one. And with that, we have a second one. That is the exact same as the first, or at least near enough that you won't know it from 20 feet away. I didn't take very much for measurements while I was building these. I did them mostly by eye, especially for the length. So getting two that are reasonably similar is pretty good. So next thing we got to do, we'll cut a piece of sheet metal, or if I got some wide flat bar, maybe we'll be able to use that. And we'll make a little flange piece, drill some holes, and I'll show you guys how these fit into our flange. All right, there is our flange. So we got two 7/8 holes. We drilled them far enough apart for this thing. This is our diverter valve. So this is gonna keep the coolant from running into the heater when we don't want it, and run it through the heater when we do want it. So the inlets, I'm gonna call them, they're 1.5 inches apart. So we drilled our 7/8 holes 1.5 inches on center, so they'll line up. So now we're gonna weld these guys in. And this is where that kind of double step piece comes in. Because the smaller piece is 7/8, it drops into that hole, and we'll be able to weld the back side of it, and the front side will still look nice and clean and tidy. It'll look like it's almost one piece without having this big weld bead around it. Also, because my welding is at best, I don't have to risk it. So we'll drop these two pieces in, like something like that. This one's a little bigger. There's a swarf or something on it. Whatever, they'll fit. There we go. So we'll drop those guys in like that. We'll run a bead of weld on both of them, and then should be good to put her in the car. well, I think that turned out pretty good. Or at least most of it did. We did have a pretty major issue there when we were power tapping those holes in the firewall. We busted the tap off in this bottom one. So now we got a couple of issues. One is that there's a tap stuck in one of the holes. The other is these two holes aren't threaded because the tap broke. So I need to figure something else out for mounting there. We might just go buy another tap and finish tapping it, and then maybe put a nutsert in that last hole. We might go to a different size. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But for now, it's got 3 out of 6 holding it in. That should be good enough. And then we stuck the diverter valve on the inside there. There's a little bit of work that has to happen on that yet. I need to change it over from a vacuum actuated valve into just like a cable of some sort, because I want to minimize the amount of vacuum lines. I'd like to make it somehow like a solenoid of some sort, a push-pull solenoid that would activate that. But that's a project for another day. We're gonna leave it for right now. And then we need to do the heater run on the inside there. But we'll do that we'll do that later. And then we also need to do the heater run on the outside. But there's some problems with that. The stock SR20 lines kind of kick way out the back here. They kind of come out right on top of the starter. And I don't have room to bring my heater lines up there. There's too much going on there. So we need to turn them and bring them out the side of the engine. And there's some collectors and some pieces that need to get kind of rejigged so that can happen. And then we can run our 3/4 inch line basically just straight up out of here and right back into our firewall. So there's some work to happen there, but I don't want to do that today. So I'm gonna call it an episode, guys. First episode of 2021. We got a really cool piece built and we had a failure. We broke some stuff, so seems pretty par for the course. Next week, I don't know. I got lots of stuff to do. I got lots of parts laying around, so we'll move on to something else. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Go check us out on Instagram, Left Foot First Media, and we'll see you next week. I'm out of here.